Welcome to today's custom exploration into the source material. We've got a really fascinating document on the table for you today, the Human-Centered AI Teaching Continuum Practice Guide.
Right, which is just a fantastic resource.
It really is. It's actually a core part of the A.C.C.E.S.S. literacy framework created by Maria Angala. And, she's a national board certified teacher.
Yeah, and her framework is essentially this system designed to make complex learning truly accessible for vulnerable students.
Exactly.
And this practice guide in particular tackles one of the biggest anxieties in modern education right now, which is how we use technology without completely losing our humanity.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because our mission today is to discover how AI in education can be utilized not as, some sterile tool for mass automation, but as a deeply humanizing instrument.
Yeah, totally.
We're looking at a roadmap targeted specifically to empower the learners who are, frankly, most often overlooked. I'm talking about multilingual learners and students with disabilities.
Which is so important because, when a lot of people picture AI coming into the classroom, they immediately imagine this, high-tech factory assembly line.
Oh, yeah, just rows of quiet kids staring at screens.
Right, while some centralized algorithm just feeds them standardized nuggets of information. It's very dystopian.
It is. It's a really cold image. It treats every learner like an identical widget on a conveyor belt.
Exactly.
But look at the students who fall outside that so-called average. I mean, the second you introduce a language barrier or learning disability, that whole assembly line just breaks down entirely.
It really does, which is why we have to start with a foundational question.
Right.
Before we even look at what the technology can do, we have to establish who is actually in charge of the classroom.
Because general AI models focus heavily on automation.
Right.
And efficiency.
Yeah, they treat learners as uniform data points. But Angela's framework starts completely differently.
Which brings us to level 1, right?
Yes. Level 1 is the expert teacher. It asserts that professional knowledge, human relationships, and instructional judgment are the absolute baseline.
I love that. It's like most AI ed tech wants to act like an airplane's autopilot, trying to fly the average route.
Right, the standard path.
Yeah, but teaching diverse learners is more like off-roading. You need an expert human driver who actually knows every single bump in that specific terrain.
That is a great way to put it. And what's fascinating here is how this human-first approach reframes the whole learning process.
How so?
Well, the AI is strictly subordinate to the teacher's judgment. So in this framework, a student's struggle isn't flagged by some algorithm as a deficiency.
Okay, I'm with you.
It's actually treated as vital information for the human teacher to act on.
Oh, I see. Because the dashboard can't tell you, how a student uses their home language, right?
Exactly, or what their family context looks like. Only a real human relationship surfaces those kinds of insights.
So you've got this expert human driver firmly behind the wheel. How do they actually use this AI vehicle to navigate the toughest parts of the journey?
Well, they use it to generate first drafts of differentiated materials. So this is what the framework calls the AI partner phase, or level 2.
Got it. AI partner.
Yeah, so we're talking about taking a really dense reading passage and, using AI to adjust the vocabulary for different reading levels.
Or maybe creating sentence starters to help a student, structure their thoughts.
Exactly. But wait, this is important. The AI's output is purely a first draft.
Right. Wait, I actually have to push back a little here.
Go for it.
If the AI is writing the adjusted reading passages and building all these scaffolds, isn't there a massive risk of the teacher just, checking out and letting the bot teach?
That's a super common concern.
Yeah.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, the framework explicitly guards against that.
How?
The teacher has to review and edit absolutely everything before a student ever even sees it.
Everything.
Everything. They're actively checking for cultural context, reading level accuracy, and idiomatic language that might confuse a multilingual learner.
Okay, so the AI is doing the heavy lifting of drafting, but the teacher maintains total pedagogical control.
Right. The human is still the editor-in-chief.
But how does a teacher actually manage that level of oversight without it taking just as much time as, doing it from scratch?
That's the brilliance of it. It's by fundamentally shifting how they value their time.
Oh.
So the hours saved by having AI draft those initial materials, they aren't just absorbed into doing administrative paperwork faster.
Right. They don't just do more emails.
Exactly. That time is deliberately reinvested into direct instruction and building those one-on-one relationships with the students.
That structural shift makes a lot of sense. You're freeing up the human to do the things only a human can really do.
Precisely.
And that flows perfectly into the next phase of the continuum, which is level 3, inclusive design.
Right, level 3.
This is about building those multilingual and multimodal supports from the very beginning of the lesson plan, right?
Yeah, you design for the learner with the greatest variability first. You don't just retrofit a lesson after a student has already failed.
Which is so common, sadly.
It is, but inclusive design requires extreme precision. Part of the process involves using what they call a clarify-style diagnostic.
Okay, let's break that down for the listener.
Sure.
A clarify-style diagnostic is essentially a specialized check-in, right? It helps a teacher figure out if a student is struggling with a concept simply because they are, well, still learning English.
Exactly. Or if there's an actual underlying learning disability at play.
That distinction is crucial. It ensures accommodations are calibrated to a genuine, specific need before they just get locked in as permanent supports.
Right. So you've designed this beautifully inclusive, highly targeted lesson, but how do you actually know it's working?
Yeah, you can't just trust the AI blindly. I mean, you need proof.
You need data, but you need the right kind of data. This brings us to level 4, evidence and reflection.
Okay, so what is the right kind of data?
Well, the framework distinguishes between reach data and outcome data.
Reach data, meaning like just tracking that a student clicked around and used the tool?
Exactly. Reach is just usage. Outcome data is what proves the student actually grew and learned.
Oh, I see.
AI is fantastic at organizing this formative data, obviously, but the teacher is the one who has to interpret it.
And they can't just look at the class average, right? They have to disaggregate that data.
Yes, absolutely.
They need to break those numbers down by specific language proficiency or disability status to expose those hidden learning gaps that a broad average would just totally cover up.
You nailed it. Analyzing that specific outcome data really paves the way for the ultimate goal of the entire framework, which is level 5, student empowerment.
This is where teachers explicitly teach students the difference between using AI as a scaffold versus using it as a shortcut.
Yep.
Here's where it gets really interesting. It's like using training wheels to learn to balance, instead of just slapping a motor on the bike so you never actually have to pedal at all.
That's a perfect analogy.
But how does a teacher actually communicate that difference to, say, a struggling 5th grader? I mean, a motor sounds pretty tempting.
It really does, but they do it through direct modeling. So a teacher might pull up an AI tool in front of the whole class and show 2 different prompts.
Okay.
They'll type in, write a paragraph about the water cycle, and then explain why that is a shortcut that steals their chance to learn.
Oh, wow. And
Then they'll type in, help me brainstorm 3 vocabulary words about the water cycle so I can write my paragraph.
they literally show the students how to ask the AI to be a thought partner.
Exactly. You're teaching them the mechanics of self-advocacy.
And the framework builds in this trust but verify habit, right? Where those scaffolds are explicitly designed to be faded out as the student's independence grows.
Yes, the goal is fading them out. So they stop defining themselves by a diagnosis or a language level, and they just start viewing themselves as capable learners.
That is incredible. But to pull off that kind of transformation in a student, the teachers themselves need incredible support, right?
Oh, definitely. And the framework provides this brilliantly simple coaching rubric for this.
Right. The walkthroughs.
Yeah, it's designed for these quick 5 to 7 minute classroom walkthroughs by instructional coaches.
And the golden rule there is really cool. The coach asks just one targeted question and leaves the teacher with one concrete next step.
That's it. One question, one step. No massive, overwhelming checklists of flaws.
Right. Just sustainable incremental growth for the teacher, which totally mirrors the growth expected of the students.
Exactly.
But if this framework can completely change a single student's self-image, how do we make sure it doesn't just remain, a secret weapon for one isolated, brilliant teacher?
You scale it. And the framework actually includes a 4-tier certification pathway designed to take this impact from a single classroom all the way up to the district level.
How does someone actually climb that ladder? Like, does it start small?
It starts entirely within your own classroom. So level 1 makes you a certified continuum practitioner.
Okay, and that focuses just on mastering the human foundations and using AI as a basic partner, so levels 1 and 2.
Yes, exactly.
And to move up to level 2 of the certification.
You become a certified inclusive design specialist, and this requires building a tangible portfolio of multilingual and multimodal materials.
To prove you're designing for variability from the start.
Right, and using data to back it up.
Okay, I assume level 3 is where you start pulling others up with you.
Precisely. You become a certified continuum trainer, you've mastered all the classroom elements, and you actually begin coaching your colleagues using those 5 to 7 minute walkthrough rubrics.
Wow, okay. And the top tier.
Level 4 is the A.C.C.E.S.S. AI Leadership Fellow. This is all about systems-level district implementation, mentorship, and really building a shared evidence base across schools.
So what does this all mean? For you listening, it means this isn't just some abstract educational philosophy. It's a highly practical, step-by-step roadmap for career advancement that doubles as a blueprint for real systemic change.
And this raises an important question about systemic equity, too.
How so?
Well, by structuring professional development through this specific lens, a district ensures that its most vulnerable populations, special education and multilingual learners, they are the primary beneficiaries of AI innovation.
Right. They're placed at the very center of the technology rollout, not just treated as an afterthought.
Exactly.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us on this exploration into the source material today. I think the A.C.C.E.S.S. framework really proves that true innovation in education isn't about replacing the teacher with a machine.
No, not at all.
It's about dismantling that factory assembly line and using the machine to amplify human empathy and expertise.
Absolutely. And I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over as you step back into your day.
Let's hear it.
If a student truly internalizes that scaffold versus shortcut mindset with AI in, say, the 5th or 8th grade, how might that fundamentally alter their transition into the modern workforce or even higher education?
Oh, wow.
Right. Environments where accommodations are no longer provided by a teacher, but must be entirely self-directed through the mastery of these very technologies.
That is something to think about.